What's going on, Benchwarmers? Welcome back to another episode. Yeah, I caught everybody off guard right now. I wanted to see how everybody's reaction was right there. Marco looked like a train just like was
I,
coming at him at 100 miles per hour and just disappeared.
I was looking at my work phone. I'm like, well, when did this come in?
What's going on, guys? I've missed you so much. I know it's been a while since I've been on, so I apologize for that. But I missed you guys, man. How have you guys been? How's our
We're full of
beloved?
snow, man. There's a lot of snow outside, and I'm pretty sure the majority of us have gotten along with shoveling excessive amounts of snow in our driveways just to clear our cars. So if you are traveling out there, if you're listening to this while you're in the car, just make sure you drive safe. It's pretty nasty out there, but it looks nice. It definitely looks nice with all the snow. So it's a good change.
Looking out the window, most of us work from home sometimes. It looks really pretty, but once you're out there, mostly today that we got like 18 inches plus, it's not as pretty as you think.
Yeah, it's not as nice.
I had to take my afternoon nap already, so I'm feeling better now, especially after these results that we just had this past week. Before we get into all that, let's remind everybody where they can hear us, where they can watch us, where they can follow us. Let's kick it off with Marco. Marco, where can they watch us?
They can watch us on YouTube at Benchwarmers FCTV.
Diego, where can they hear us?
You can listen to us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts by searching Benchwarmers FC.
And Nico, Nick, where can they give us a comment to follow and all the good stuff?
Follow us and check out all our content on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Benchwarmers FC1.
Awesome. So today it's gonna be a little bit different. We're not gonna do our typical, go into each game and give our benchy analysis, which in reality is,
it's just us.
It's just us. So we decided to do it a little bit different today, a little banter back and forth, kind of keep it, nice and loose. At the same time, I just want to say, I'll say here first, Rashford and Cavani shafting United. But aside from that, good results, I think, for my beloved Arsenal. Unfortunately, it wasn't 3 points that we were hoping for, but I am happy with the point. I think if I were a United fan, I would have been a little bit upset to walk away with a single point. I don't know about you, Diego, but I know obviously Willian missed probably our best opportunity, and Cavani and Rashford both. Well, Cavani I think had 2 opportunities for you guys, if I'm not mistaken, and Rashford had like another pretty decent shot, but didn't take it. So how'd you feel throughout that game? Because again, I'm happy with the point. I know you feel like you probably should have walked away with the full 3. So you upset with the side, or?
I was upset with it because really we got the boost that Arsenal had no Aubameyang, they had no Saka, and they had no Tierney. I think with those 3 players missing out, we should have definitely capitalized on a weakened squad. Rashford's miss, I think, is probably the one that stung me the most, because I know I was watching it and I was saying he should have just hit that first time, and meanwhile he's like tucking it behind and like doing close control with his feet. By the time he gets himself like oriented towards goal, he's already swarmed by 3 or 4 players in the box, and then it amounts to nothing. You should have hit that first time. So yeah, I'm definitely disappointed that we didn't take advantage of the situation to walk away with 3 points. And I think Arsenal, even though they were missing maybe more of an attacking edge, I think they held their own. So I know this recording definitely would have gone way different if either team won. I know it would have gone way different. And Marco's smiling because
I have a feeling somebody would have not come today. I do. I feel like, or Erik would have been like, you know what, one more recording, it's perfectly fine. Or Diego would be like, you know what, I don't feel good today. But I mean, it walked away with the 0-0. I guess in my eyes, for the Arsenal fans, we walked away with a point. For the Man U fans, they walked away missing or losing 2 points. It was a good game. We did have the disadvantage of not having everybody on the field that we would have liked to see play. And then you guys didn't capitalize on that, and that's on you. And I went in nervous, knowing that we didn't have our key players, but I walked away satisfied with the result.
Right, man. I was once I saw there was no Saka on the field, Which it surprised me because for a 19-year-old to already have that feeling like, damn, we're missing Saka. Like, fuck, it's really demoralizing. That he's 19 years old, so that is a lot of excitement to have. For a team we're kind of building around him already, and to not have him and Tierney, who I think is out again this coming week. Oh man, I definitely feel like this game could have gone a different way.
Plus, Party was
100%.
missing a lot. Party
Party
was
was
off.
out. Yeah, he was off.
Party was
It
off.
wasn't that good. But for a 0-0 game, I think it was a lot more entertaining than the
Yeah.
previous Liverpool United game. You know, that was like more of a snooze fest. But this one just
That
seemed
Lacazette chance.
the free kick. Yeah, man, it was good, man. I was with Marco, my brother, watching this game, and I was extremely nervous in the beginning too, but then my confidence in the team and how we were performing kind of built up throughout the game. And it's so that it kind of seemed to get as it did for Arsenal too. Rob Holding, man, I feel like he's so underrated as a defender. He has been one of our rocks back there. The only thing that's been changing constantly is the David Luiz, the Gabriel, the Pablo Mari. But Holding has been one of the most consistent pieces in that back line. And we have the second most clean sheets behind Man City right now. And he's not getting the praise he deserves, in my opinion.
He's not, but because I think it's more about like the past situations where he wasn't getting that much play time, and he was being judged based off of small performances. Now he's been getting week after week, and now he's actually been able to show us what he's able to do. And so far, I mean, he had a key pass yesterday that could have ended up in goal.
Yeah, he's doing more of those long passes that we've never seen him do before, but I think that's because of the influence on from David Luiz. Diego, how do you feel that you guys brought in this Cavani player, senior veteran, to be clinical in these situations, and for him to shaft them at the very end?
No, I think he built us out. He definitely missed the chances. Like I can't say anything against that. I was definitely feeling the miss, and I was feeling frustrated from the miss. But I don't think you can ask much more from a guy that we signed definitely last minute. It looked like a sloppy move, and his work rate is the only thing that's shining through right now as a professional. He is definitely older. There are some things that he doesn't do as great, but the fact that he works his ass off on the pitch whenever he gets minutes, I think everybody can see that. And he's come up clutch for us. So he's definitely, if anything, I think the United team is shafting when it comes to, keeping the advantages that he gives us on the pitch, including scoring and stuff like that when it comes to our defense letting in silly goals. So he's provided. I'm not upset with Cavani in the long term. Of course, during that game it was frustrating, but you can't ask much more for someone like that.
Yeah. So speaking of the change a little bit of direction here. Speaking of the last minute transfers and all that, right? How did you guys do anything this window at all, or no?
No, it doesn't look like, other than Lingardinho
Lingard
reviving his career, going to West Ham. The young 28-year-old starlet. I thought that he would have been able to play against Liverpool, but it was too soon, and he wasn't eligible to play. I see Nico sipping his tea. He's like, yeah, right, Lingard who? So yeah, I don't think there's anything else happening. There were rumors about a Van de Beek loan, but that was kind of that was rubbished out. To segue into Liverpool, and I think that's one of the biggest things that we probably should chat about, signing Ozan Kabak from Schalke and Mustafi going the other way, and then securing Ben Davies. So 2 defenders, Nico, on 6-month options, loan options to buy. It looks like, I haven't seen anything confirmed, so it's definitely a rumor. I'm gonna label it that, but I've seen the rumor already on Twitter that Matip is out for the season. Which is a very, very big blow. So give us the lowdown, Nico. How's your team looking with these 2 new faces?
Well, I think with like Michael Edwards and all them, I think it was too late, because I think they waited until Matip got the injury, and then they waited to dip into the market. I mean, but with Kabak and Ben Davies, hopefully they come in and do a solid job. Michael Edwards back at it again, because I remember, like, earlier this morning, it was like Ozan Kabak alone, and then obligation to buy, and then it was like news came out, and then it was a loan for option to buy. So if he ends up not working out, then we could just send him back to Schalke. So I mean, overall, it's a good piece of business, but I think it was a little too late.
So 2 new faces, Marco, Erik. What do you guys think? Do you think these guys are gonna plug in? Is it just like, kind of like have you ever seen the cartoons where the dam starts to break and you start plugging in holes with your fingers and you start putting them in like that? Or do you think these guys are gonna come good for the team?
I mean, like Nico said, I think it was a good move for them. They would do it on a loan basis, so that way they're not kind of um fully committing to these players without knowing how they can perform. So they have 6 months to show it. If they can fill in for Matip and Van Dijk and do the job right, it's a win for Liverpool because right now they're just paying their salaries, and then when the transfer window opens up again, they can bring them in officially. So it's good business on them. I don't know whoever your scout or whoever it is doing all this for you guys,
Michael
but
Edwards, bro.
Michael Edwards,
Come
yeah,
on,
dude,
man.
he's killing it for you guys.
Brewster for 25 mil,
Oh.
Solanke for like 20 mil.
Yeah,
You
man,
can sell
but
anything for 20 mil, baby.
yeah, so
That's
things
what he
it look to
does.
me. It looks like Liverpool have kind of like looked or finding this new. I don't know, not era, but I guess just feeling around the club from what it looks like on the outside in because Shaqiri's playing more and he's looking solid. That game you guys had last time, he perfect
He's coming in
assist.
and do a job.
Yeah, and now for you guys to bring in the defenders and do the business, good business on top of that, things are slowly looking better for Liverpool. And I'll be careful.
I think we need to hit them with the banter bat though, because that Minamino loan. I
saw that. I did see that.
That
come
extension
on,
for
man.
Tuesday. Come on.
Wait,
I think the two the two banter hits are going to be the Minamino loan to Southampton, which is not a done deal. They applied for the extension, so they could fill out paperwork by Tuesday, and then Mustafi. So you guys want to have like a moment of silence for Mustafi, or what's up?
Mustafi all day,
Listen,
baby.
man.
I just had it.
I just had it.
Look, if there's
you feel me?
If there's one thing I do want to say about this whole Mustafi situation, is Edu is doing the business for us right now. He got rid of almost all of our deadwood. And Ozil, Socrates, Kolasinac, Mustafi.
Word.
And now we got rid of what are you getting rid of? But we loaned out Willock and else and what's his name? Willock and House. So the business is happening, at least on Liverpool and Arsenal's end. United seem kind of quiet. But as far as the league performances goes, you know who I did think was in the league was Pogba. After everything that happened with his agent coming out saying this, that, and the other. And he just turns it around, man. He just looks so good for you guys now.
I think it was more of maybe him just being a professional. I don't think he's doing it because he necessarily wants to stay. And that's just me going out on a limb. I think he's probably doing it as like a bit of a statement to be like, listen, I'll admit I don't want to be here, but I'm going to give everything before I leave. I think there's some merit to that. Whether he goes or not, I think it's closer now that there was nothing happening in the winter. I think it's definitely closer that he leaves in the summer. But again, that's speculation and leaving it to the future. I'm just scrolling through some of the other deals that have happened so far. So I don't know if you guys remember Josh King from Bournemouth. He had a bit of a sprint in fantasy a couple seasons back, not much. And so just 20 minutes ago, Everton just secured his signing.
Wow.
Until the end of the season. So it's a nice little loan move for Josh King. I think that's a good move because they don't have, aside from Calvert-Lewin, we saw that once Calvert-Lewin got hit with the injury, they had nobody else going forward. And they looked very, very barren. And they were essentially playing with like 4 or 5 midfielders, like central midfielders in Doucouré, Andre Gomez, James. It's definitely saturated with playmakers. But as far as someone who finishes, Josh King, I don't think that's a bad move.
That's a good move. Wow. Anything else happening on the transfer?
What about? All right, I don't think we got a chance to talk about it though. I don't think we had a chance to talk about it as a pod about Lampard. I don't think we had the fight. We didn't give it its 5 minutes of fame. Lampard being the first sacked among the big 6. So yes, this is definitely a dead horse to beat. So I apologize in advance to all the Chelsea fans if you guys do exist. But I'm pretty sure they won't care because they're looking pretty good under Tommy T. So Was it a surprise? Did you guys expect it? Did you see it coming? What's up?
I'll be first to say that I did not expect it until the report started coming out saying that this is his last game. He doesn't win. Once I saw that, I was like, all right, it's kind of said and done. But I wasn't expecting it to happen. At least not until the end of the season.
I mean, I've been calling it for a while now that I personally thought it was going to end the season and then say goodbye. And then I think the last podcast before he was sacked, I said if he doesn't win the next 2 games, he's definitely going to be sacked. Well, I think the word came out 2 days later after we recorded that he was officially sacked, and then they brought in somebody else. So I'm like, I mean, the reports were there. I didn't want to believe it because I'm more of a believer of giving a person a chance to finish their job and then sack them. I'm not a fan of midway sacking, but at the same time, it's because selfishly, I prefer them sucking. And then we did get a nice. We're equal in points.
Yeah,
I
man,
think they're 2 points above us. So
that was a turning point. Yeah,
that's also why I prefer him to stay. But he's sacked now. They have a new coach, and so far it's okay.
I kind of had a feeling he was gonna be sacked after the was it Brighton? No, Leicester. I don't know. It was just like I feel like it was just coming. It's just been coming the whole season. Like a couple of strings of good results and then 3 bad results. I just felt it was inevitable.
I just hate that you can't banter them for it because as much as we want to banter them for it, all they say is, "Well, we get trophies though. We get championships though." It's like fuck, man. It's like yeah, you're right, but fuck your club, man. God, I hate that. I hate that so much.
I mean, I just recall Nando's thoughts on the game, and he said he didn't agree with it, but he understood why they did it, and that speaks a lot. I mean, I think the big fans, the local fans, were the ones that were asking for his head because they're the ones that are there. The external fans, I think, like they were like kind of like Nando, in the sense that they wanted a change, they didn't want it now. But now that it happened, they're okay with it. But it's not something that they were looking for.
I disagree with you on that. I think all fans want him to stay. I think it's just the owner. I think it's just him. Because if you see online, they went to Stamford. The Chelsea fans went to Stamford Bridge, asking for Abramovich's head. They put like a song. They vandalized the gate and put something about new ownership. So I think there's gonna be some sort of mini revolt if they don't find, I guess, longevity in the coach. Thomas Tuchel though does look kind of scary. I will agree with you on that. It's looking kind of nice. Kind of scared about that.
I wonder if it was anyone but Frank Lampard that was the manager of them, they would have done that.
I don't think so. Yeah, I think because it's Frank Lampard.
Yeah,
but that kind of like it put a bright light on how much of a scumbag the ownership is. But you can't tell the fans that, and you can't tell him that because what's the response? I win Champions Leagues. I win championships. So it just never in a circle, Either you live and die by the sword, That's what it is. I think they're lucky. I wish we had their money.
Wait, did you know about Joe Willock?
Yeah, I said that already. Newcastle. Yeah, he loaned out. Yeah. We loaned out to Newcastle. Niles went to West Brom. Arsenal brought in Matt Ryan and Odegaard, which we haven't had a chance to talk about. I'm excited to see what he can perform, what he brings into the team. See if he really is this, next phenom that he's been said to be for the past, God knows how long. I feel like he's been around forever now.
Yeah, I think that Real Madrid spotlight definitely I think it highlighted him at a very young age. So that's why it feels like he's been around for a long time. Some of the other movements that have come up though, not to push it aside, but these are coming in within the last half hour. Now that the transfer window has officially closed for the winter period. Paul Arriola, we were just talking about the U.S. men's national team winning 7-0 against Trinidad and Tobago. Paul Arriola secured his move from DC United on loan to Swansea. So that's going to be a pretty interesting one to watch, especially for Paul Arriola, and to see if he's got it going in the championship. But there's a few other things that are coming in It's definitely
There's another one, another U.S. Player.
Yeah.
Yedlin went to Galatasaray.
oh
Yeah,
yes,
and
Gedlin.
Brian Reynolds. Do you guys know who this is? Brian Reynolds.
Brian Reynolds, no.
I'm gonna look him up right now. I've been hearing about him because I've been listening to the radio nonstop. But hold on, let me see if I can find him.
Yes, AS
do you
Roma
accept?
from Dallas,
Yeah, but club record fee.
from FC Dallas.
Where'd he go?
19-year-old American. Oh, geez.
Where'd he go?
Roma.
FC Dallas to Roma.
Nice. That's a
Yeah,
good
I
move.
think 8-something mil or something around there, if I'm not mistaken. But yo, man, the US are
Yeah,
a
8
team to
million.
watch out for, man. If they
Future,
can find
yes.
a solid coach to build this team up, oh man, I don't see why when the World Cup is here, which is in what 2020.
2022.
No,
Wasn't it 6?
No. Oh, well,
2026.
here's 2026. Sorry,
Yeah.
my bad. The next one is 2022. My bad.
Yeah. I can see them being favorites, bro. Favorites to win it with the squad that they'll have at that time with Winston McKinney, Pulisic, Sargent, who's fucking killing it for what's it called now? Gio Reyna, Sergino Dest, bro. It's a squad.
I saw Nico wince, and then I winced too. So I don't know if it was just like a
Because-
social cue or.
Because Diego, you have a bias towards the U.S. We all know
I do have a bias. I do have a bias because the U.S. has fallen short several times, and I think they're the makers of their own demise. That's the biggest thing.
But that's
Because
not
there's
the
no
why, though.
reason.
That's
One
not the
thing
reason
that
why
we
you're
all agree
biased.
on. One thing that we all agree on, though, is there's no reason why players like Altidore and Bradley should even be touching the rosters of this team.
Yes.
To this
I will
day.
agree with that. I will agree
To
with
this
that. Not the joke. And we talked about it the other night, like how it's
Right.
just how stupid it is to have these players around when they just that doesn't help. It just literally ruins everything that we're trying to build towards. But I genuinely do think that 2026 when World Cup is here, we're gonna have a really good team.
A lot of these players will be in their prime.
Yeah,
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? We're gonna lose Ronaldo. We're gonna lose Messi. Neymar's gonna be already aged out at that time, and regardless, you guys don't rate him anyway. So it's gonna be besides England, who have also a very young side coming up as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be interesting to see this young bucks develop, and I'm happy to see that these Americans are going abroad. That they're going to Roma, they're going to to Germany, England. It's good to see that.
So to switch gears and bring it back into what we've been seeing in the Prem, things that are unprecedented or maybe unexpected, just like the U.S. being favorites for the 2026 World Cup. All right, guys. So we made predictions at the beginning of the season for what the top 4 is going to look like. And I think out of all of us on the bench, I think only 2 of us had Leicester City in the top 4. They're currently in the top 4. So before I pull that up, we have City, United, Liverpool, and Leicester making up the top 4. Do you guys think it's going to stay like this, or do you think it's going to change? Marco, if you want a few minutes, I'm going to pull up. Just going to keep chatting here so I can pull up the post that we made previously for this season, so that we know we know what we're talking about. But looking at the table, if you pulled it up, do you think it's going to stay like this, or just the top 4? Don't worry about
top 4.
Europa,
Don't worry about anybody else.
6, just top 4.
Not in this specific positioning, but yes, I think this is most clearly what we're going to end up with the top 4 at the end of the season. Not specifically in that order, with Man City at the top, United, Liverpool, and Leicester City. I want to see there's going to be some change here and there, but yeah, those top 4 will remain there.
All right, Nick, we've had 9 different teams that tied a record for the most teams that have sat at the top of the table at the end of a match day. Do you think it's going to end with these same 4 teams at the top?
I think if it weren't to be Leicester City in the top 4, I think it would be Chelsea. I think just because of the manager bounce. Every team has a manager bounce, And I mean, the way I saw a stat that they have 0 shots on target conceded Chelsea in these last 2 games. Although it's only 2 games, but that looks very promising. So I think it'll be between Leicester City or Chelsea. But if I were to pick one, I'll pick. You know what? I'll pick Chelsea.
You pick Chelsea? All right, I'm glad. Sticking to your guns. All right, Nick, I'm going to read out your predictions at the beginning of the season. Nick predicted in this order: Liverpool, City, Chelsea, Spurs. So putting Chelsea in there, you're remaining true to your picks. For Marco, he said that the same 4 teams that are there right now are going to be there. Marco's picks were City, Chelsea, Arsenal, and Leeds. Leeds United in 4th place. Right now, they're doing good. They're doing okay, but that was a shout. Erik, I'm going to cheat a little bit with you because your top 4 was City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal. Would you stick with the current top 4 or your previous top 4?
I do think Chelsea are going to drop out. I mean, Chelsea going to drop out and Chelsea jump in. I'll go with the current top 4.
Current top 4?
Yeah. It's a 4 point between you guys and 5th, so top 4 is kind of hard to catch up to at this point.
I put mine was a little bit similar to the rest of y'all's, but instead of having Arsenal, I have United in there in the top 4 with Chelsea in 3rd. I don't like to admit that Chelsea might come back up and do well, but I feel like if Tommy T, I'm going to just keep calling him that, if he keeps rotating and if he's getting his fullbacks to score bangers like that, I think he might be able to turn this around. And that sucks because we were all enjoying Liverpool getting B and the 3 sponsor on the shirt and conceding 3 goals every time and the whole meme. But you know what? I think it's a good time to check in. Halfway through the season, some of us couldn't be any more wrong. We have Edgar with Leeds United in 4th place. I think all of us, I think I might have been, how many? Oh no, Erik, Marco, and myself all have City winning the league again. Everyone else has Liverpool. So hopefully these 2 new defenders can give Liverpool more defensive acumen to rely on.
And as of right now, the only one that's right is Ricky.
Oh, get out.
What does Ricky have?
Liverpool, Leicester City, and Man United. The one that doesn't watch games, the one that
Don't tell him that. Don't tell him that.
As of today, he's the only one that's right.
Wait till the very end.
That's crazy. Oh man, yeah, don't tell him that.
Leave it to Ricky to be right.
Yeah.
So to push into something completely different, guys, let's take a few minutes, check in on your fantasy sides and the rest of the fantasy league. I mentioned off air, there was a post that I had just seen, a tweet where someone was saying, sometimes it's better to be lucky than to be good. And this week was probably the truest it has ever been because Erik is already smiling with a massive 70-pointer.
Bro, I forgot I had 3 players not play this weekend. Psych! Don't even matter. I got 78, man. That's crazy, bro. It's crazy. I mean, it works, it's a hands off. Look, I'm the way I manage my team is very hands off. I believe in my players. I let you guys do what you're gonna do. I put who I think is gonna be the best that day, and they go out there and they perform. And that's what happened. I believed in this starting lineup since the beginning, since the very beginning. And they got me the
Estrada, bro. Pepe Estrada.
Come on, Bamford, bro. Wilson. Everybody wrote them off already, man. Salah, Captain Hip. They wrote them off, and I believe in my players. I'm very hands off to the manager. That's it.
I'm gonna call you Lampard.
Nico, how did you do
method
this
to my
week?
madness, Nico.
I got 61 points. Got very lucky with a Salah captain, although Mane didn't play at all. So I mean, to round it all up for my week, I mean Salah bailed out once again. So that's it. Dallas chipped in with 7 points. Martinez as well. Stone's kind of shafted me with 0. I got Vardy on red, so I need to see what I need to do on that. But yeah, 61.
61, and I want to save the best for last. My team, I just did barely over the average, 51 points. Nothing too crazy there. I did leave Wilson on the bench, but Marco having a pretty good week with a green arrow, massive 68-pointer, cutting the gap in the gap versus Marco bet to 40 points. 40 points. And Marco, I know you're holding it in, but you want to smile right now.
Oh, I'm dying to smile, bro. But at the same time, it's still 40 points. And last week he walked away with he increased the gap for 15 points, so I was able to bring it back down. So every week it's a fight, man. It's definitely a fight. I have to make sure that every change I make, it's gonna work for my team. And as of right now, it has. Let's see if I can continue it.
Definitely, we're just checking in with Gat just to give him some props. You know, having Salah and Bamford on there, basically giving them the benefit for starting. A lot of people were hurt by the Pep Roulette this week. Cancelo didn't even start, and Gat had him as his captain with the vice on Son, who didn't have a very good outing in his match versus Brighton, where Spurs lost. So checking back in to the Benchwarmers Fantasy League, in Kepa We Trust was free falling, and then roared back with a enormous 86-point haul this week, keeping the captaincy band on Salah. That's a massive 30-pointer. Bamford and Wilson making up his attack for a week that had a lot of people failing because of the roulette, because of rested players. In Kepa We Trust doing well to keep the top spot safe. I'm sitting in second, roughly about 50, 60 points behind. I Love You, Hannah, in third, and You Don't Matter in fourth. Erik, moving up. Like he said, he lets his players do the work. Sixth place, a nice green arrow. He was just in the top 10, I believe, last week, and now he's roaring back into the European spots. Nico going into 10th place, and I believe Josue had a small little red arrow falling down to 12th. So, guys, I think we're doing pretty good. We're all doing pretty good. We're all occupying the high spots. None of us are down at the bottom.
I was laughing at that comment. That was funny. He lets his players do his.
None of us are down at the bottom, languishing. At least the ones that do take care of their squads. And we have another, probably by the time you listen to this recording, the next game week has already started. We're back-to-back game weeks, midweeks, weekends. We see the Tuesday coming back up again. There's not much in terms of pointers for this week that I can offer, guys, because sometimes it's better to just be happy with how you handle your team. And I think this is a good week to kind of say, if you made logical choices and transfers and it didn't work out, just stick to it because it'll work for you. If you didn't do anything and you let your players do the job, stick to it because it probably did work for you. And I think everyone has their own managing style. And I think that's pretty funny. And it's pretty cool to see right now, especially at the halfway point where lots of things can happen. One thing that I will say, and this just goes out to everybody, our league is now locked. So everyone that's in, it's an all-out battle for that top spot right now. In Kepa We Trust, looks like we might have to give him a Kepa goalie jersey just so that he can celebrate. But we'll see if that's what his pick is. Either way, anyone else that does want to play, make sure that you catch us for next season. This one, however, there are some double game weeks coming up, and I'm just letting you guys know, and anyone else that listens, this is your heads up that we're going to have more double game weeks ahead for Everton, Southampton, City, Spurs. I think it's going to start around game week 24, so we have a few weeks left before we get there. I think that's it for the fantasy. That wraps up today for, at least on my side, taking care of whatever fantasy brings. I'll make sure to break it down when the next deadline comes in more detail as far as how we can navigate the new doubles. But Erik, you got anything else for the bench to go over on this episode?
No, man, that's pretty much it, man. I'm ready for tomorrow, Arsenal versus Wolves. Let's see how that game goes. Any other big matchups this week coming up? Well, this week, game week.
Menu Southampton.
Man, has to be a good game.
Nah, Chelsea Spurs, man.
Chelsea Spurs.
Chelsea Spurs, yeah, man. All right, so we got a lot of matchups coming up midweek, and if you're snowed in tomorrow, we're gonna be doing all right, watching some footy. So catch us there. And I'm gonna be sitting my ass on the bench. We are the Benchwarmers, the bench with a voice. Where the bench is always warm. Peace.